Hey y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living. And how's it going? How are you handling this situation right now? Are you feeling more like, wow, so grateful, what an amazing situation we have? Are you feeling worried? Are you feeling like you are victim to circumstances, right? And have you ever in your life wished that you didn't have to go to work? Right? So here's the thing, y'all. Right now, I know, so many people are struggling and saying, this is bad, and I'm afraid because of what's happening with the pandemic. I'm afraid because what it means with the government, and thinking about whether there are conspiracies or how did this thing start, and what matters right now? That's my favorite question. I use that question every day when I journal. What matters? What matters? What matters is none of that, right? What really matters is you and how you are handling it, how you are dealing with it. What are you going to do with these circumstances? Because the truth is, bottom line, none of us are ever victim to our outer circumstances, right? And right, for so many people, right, we haven't been able to make changes to our lives. We've been stuck with certain things. Why? Largely because we are in a groove, right? As our friend Stevie Wonder said, just because a record has a groove, don't make it in the groove. Because what is a groove but a rut, a routine, a certain way of doing things, a locked-in pattern, a neural network that keeps us the same. So, if you want things to change in your life, right? And that's what we're here for, to evolve, to grow, to expand, to be more, to experience more love, more joy, more abundance in all regards. If we're going to do that, first thing we have to do is change things, do things differently. And this is an incredible gift because it's a slap to us all to say, hey, whoa, wake up. The world is never going to be the same. Now, specifically, I have spoken to a lot of people lately who are struggling with their children being home and homeschooling right now. So a little lesson that I learned from my daughter I'll share with you, because this was going back now 3-4 years ago. We were living in Bali, and Zaida was maybe 8 at that point, I guess, something like that. And some changes were starting to happen in our life. We were doing more traveling. I was doing a mentorship with Tony Robbins, which had us around the world a lot of time. Plus, the school she was going to, it was like 35 minutes away, and she had to go early in the morning. She got home late at night. I'm like, I'm not really seeing her enough. Like, because who is your child's first teacher, best teacher, most important teacher? You. Absolutely, 100%. Right? And there are certain things in life that we do not want to abdicate. Our health, no one else is responsible for that. Our wealth, don't make anyone else responsible for that. Our inner state, right? Because we always have control over that. And the values that we share with our children. Yes, wonderful to take advantage of great schools like Steiner-based Waldorf education and other schools, because there are specialists, and your children are your children, right? So sharing with them, right? So that's why I was like, I don't like this situation so much. I don't see my daughter enough. Plus, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling in and out of school. So I took her out of school and said, we're going to have 1 year of not really homeschooling, more like world schooling. But I thought, I got to be a responsible parent. I got to do what I'm supposed to do here and make sure that she's keeping up with the academics and the standard educational materials. So we're going to also do our academics. Let me tell you, that did not go well, right? In part because, like, sitting down and saying, okay, now we're going to do our lessons and we're going to do this, and we signed on for this online education English course and writing course, and these, it wasn't fun for her. It wasn't interesting, and so not surprisingly, she pushed back about it. So I said, well, what do we do? And I still thought, I got to do this. This is the way it's supposed to go. Right? But I also thought, I don't want to create conflict here, because what's the biggest thing that I need to be teaching is how to work with challenges, how to work when situations, circumstances are beyond our control, including in our relationship. So I was looking for ways to make the traditional educational stuff more interesting, more doable. So one day I said, tell you what, how about if today we go over to Clear Cafe, our favorite restaurant in Ubud. We'll go to Clear Cafe and we'll do this part of the work there. And you can get this drink, your favorite drink there. And she's like, okay, cool. Right. So we go over to Clear. It's about 5 in the afternoon, right? And we sit down. It's quite empty there. We got a table. And she says, Papa, before we start, can I go and use the slide? Because they had like a fireman's pole slide over them. I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, the body, right? So she goes over there and she's doing that, and I'm getting things set up. And then a couple minutes later, she comes over. Hey, Sharon, welcome, awesome. So a couple minutes, she comes over. Christina, hey. And so Zaida comes over and she's like, Papa, can I talk to you for a minute? Right. Yeah, what's up? She's like, well, there are these kids over there, these young kids, little kids. Right? Meanwhile, she's like 8. There's these little kids over there, and what they're doing is wrong. I'm like, okay, well, tell me more. She's like, well, right, they're going down the pole, and that's okay, but they're also pulling up the matting and stuff, and the staff has come over, and the staff has said to them, stop doing that, but they're still doing it, right? And so I say, okay, well, I hear you. And she's like, and I know the staff. And true, we'd been at that restaurant since it opened. And she felt very close to them, as I did to the, beautiful Balinese staff there. So I was like, okay, well, what do you think? She's like, well, I gotta tell those kids that that's not right. I'm like, okay, well, do you feel like you can do that? And she's like, well, I already did, but they didn't really listen so well. And they're still doing it. I'm like, okay, well, that's a tough position, because you don't want them to be, arguing with you, and you don't want to be like the bad guys, right? But she's like, yeah, but the staff, and if they keep doing that, the staff's going to get in trouble with their boss, and it's going to mess things up. I was like, okay, well, can I help you with that? She's like, no, I know what to do. So she walks back over to them, and a few minutes later she comes over and she's kind of glum. I was like, well, what happened? She's like, well, I told them, and they didn't really like it, but they did stop doing it. And I was like, okay, and how did the staff feel about it? She's like, well, they were really appreciative. They came and thanked me. And I thought, oh, what am I doing with trying to force these academics? Now, Zaida grew up with me in Bali around my trainings, right? Yoga teacher training, raw chef training, leadership trainings, which were all about what? Really? About mindset, about leadership, about being responsible in the world, the one who can respond, the one who is greater than circumstances. So she exemplified beautiful leadership. The challenge of saying, like, I want to be respectful of these children. I want to help them, and I don't want them not to like me. And it's hard to tell anybody what to do, but at the same time, so she is wrestling with that. And she really went inside and found in herself what was most important was the caring and the responsibility, which again, responsibility is the one who has the ability to respond. So for y'all, my brothers and sisters who are working with homeschooling right now, I know it can be challenging and there's certain requirements there, and I encourage you to remember what a blessed opportunity this is for all of us in our lives, right? We're going to come through this period. Life will not be the same. How are we using this time right now? Whether it's learning a language or playing an instrument or having time with your children in ways that you don't normally, or learning how to meditate and having a retreat for yourself and creating a different reality, or building a business that you couldn't do normally because you're so busy with the other routines in your life. All of those are possible and more, right? And it doesn't matter, of course, to me, what you do with the time. My encouragement, request, I implore you, do make sure that you're using this time in such a way that a month from now or a year from now, when you look back at this weird period in 2020 when we were all living the dream in quarantine, that's the story you tell, that I was living the dream in quarantine, as opposed to, oh, it was this horrible thing and we had to do this and we had to do that and they made us do this. Not a victim, right? Yeah, there are some things that are out of our control right now, but not your inner state. That is absolutely in your control. And if you teach nothing else to your children, modeling that awareness that you were greater than these circumstances, that you were taking these circumstances and making something of beauty, moving yourself and your life forward with it, one of the greatest teachings you could ever give them of their entire lives. All right, y'all, I hope that was interesting, useful, innocuous. If you are interested in learning more about your vibration, the link is there in the description. Join my masterclass, the Vibration of Vibrancy Complimentary. If you are interested in creating a business and creating long-term residual income, private message me. We got something really exciting going on. And no matter what, y'all, thank you for being interested in vibrancy. The art of vibrant living, it is our birthright, our destiny. And thanks for tuning in. Mahalo and aloha.